The twin suns burned in the sky as Marcus stepped into the slave market on the outer rim planet called Drexel 9. The air smelled of dust, metal, and hopelessness. Crowds filled the bizarre aliens of all kinds, each speaking in their strange tongues. The ground was covered in dry, cracked stone, and rusty cages lined both sides of the path. Marcus wasn't supposed to be here. He was only passing through Drexel 9 looking for fuel and food, but something had pulled him into this place. Something strange. He walked past cages filled with alien slaves, some strong, some sick, all broken. Bitter stood nearby, yelling numbers and tossing coins. No one looked kind. No one looked human. Then he heard it, a voice, soft, fragile, almost lost in the noise. "Please, buy my chains." Marcus stopped. He looked around but saw nothing. "Please, I'll give you. Strong children. Just break my chains." Now he saw her. In the farthest corner of the market, away from the crowd, a small cage sat alone. Inside was a female alien, curled up, knees against her chest. Her skin was a soft silver. Her eyes glowed faint green. She had no clothes, only a torn piece of cloth. Chains held her arms and legs. A strange collar blinked red around her neck. Marcus walked closer. She looked up. Her face was thin, lips dry, and she was shaking. But her eyes were full of something more. Not fear, not weakness. Hope. The merchant beside her laughed when he saw Marcus stop. "You want that one?" The alien trader spat, shaking his scaled head. "She's defective, broken, barren, not even worth feeding." Marcus stared. "Then why is she alive?" The trader shrugged. "Some mistake. No one buys her. No one wants her. Her kind is almost extinct. Good for nothing except maybe experiments." The woman looked up again. "You are human," she whispered. Marcus nodded slowly. "Humans don't treat chains like prizes," she said softly. The merchant snorted. "You gonna buy her, human? Or just admire the trash?" Something in Marcus' chest tightened. He didn't need a slave. He didn't want one, but this didn't feel like buying property. It felt like saving a life. "How much?" he asked. The merchant blinked. "You serious? How much?" The merchant laughed and gave a number. It was low. No one had bid on her for weeks, maybe months. Marcus threw the credits down. "Fine, she's yours," the trader said, tossing a key. "Good luck, you'll regret it." Marcus caught the key and stepped toward the cage. The woman watched him with wide eyes. He unlocked the door. She didn't move. "I bought your chains," Marcus said, "but I'll break them now." He knelt and unlocked the shackles from her wrists, then her ankles. They fell to the ground with a heavy sound. She whispered, "I thought no one would ever free me. Can you walk?" Marcus asked. She nodded, weakly. As she stood, the crowd around them began to stare. Murmurs rose. Some pointed, some looked afraid. A tall alien with black eyes whispered to another, "That's not just a slave. That's one of them. That's the extinct bloodline," Marcus noticed. "What are they saying about you?" The woman didn't answer. Instead, she stepped beside him. Her legs shook, but she stayed standing. He gave her his coat. She wrapped it around herself, hugging it tight like it was the first warm thing she'd felt in years. "What's your name?" he asked as they started walking. She looked at him with tired eyes. "Soraya. Why did you say you'd give me strong children?" Marcus asked, his voice low. She looked ahead, not answering for a long time. Then she whispered, "Because my blood was made for strength. My people were created for breeding warriors, but they killed most of us. The last one they kept, but I never wanted to be a tool." Marcus said nothing. "They called me useless because I wouldn't obey, but I'm not useless if someone sets me free." Behind them, the merchant yelled, "You'll be hunted now, human. She's marked. The ones who made her will come for you." Marcus didn't look back. Soraya grabbed his sleeve gently. "You didn't just buy me, you made a choice. That matters more than anything." And as they disappeared into the crowd, the wind blew through the market of chains. But one chain had been broken that day, and someone would pay for it. Asterisk the night sky above Drexel 9 was a deep violet, stars blinking like tiny eyes watching from afar. Marcus guided Soraya through a dark alley, her bare feet silent on the dusty ground. She walked slowly, still weak, holding his coat tightly around her thin body. They didn't speak much. Soraya's eyes moved constantly watching the shadows, the rooftops, the corners, like someone expecting danger at every step. When they reached Marcus's small shuttle, he opened the door and helped her in. The ship wasn't fancy, just a transport for supply runs. But to Soraya, it was the warmest place she had seen in years. He brought her water. She drank it like someone lost in a desert. "Thank you," she whispered. Marcus sat across from her. "Who were those people whispering about your bloodline?" She hesitated. "They weren't wrong," she said. "I am not like others. My people were not born, we were made." "Made?" he asked. "In labs, for one reason, breeding, creating strong children. Super soldiers." Marcus stared at her, unsure if she was joking. She wasn't. "My creators called us seed vessels. That's all we were. Not wives, not women, just bodies." Her voice broke at the last word, but she didn't cry. Instead, she looked down at her hands. "When I was young, they said I was the strongest, but I refused the program. I wouldn't let them use me. So they chained me, drugged me, and threw me away like garbage." Marcus felt his jaw tighten. "That collar, what is it?" She touched the glowing red ring around her neck. "It's not just a tracker, it's a limiter. It stops my body from healing, stops my strength, it weakens me." "I'm taking it off," Marcus said. She shook her head quickly. "No, if you remove it without the code, it explodes. That's how they keep us from running." Silence filled the ship for a moment. Marcus finally said, "You said you were the strongest. Are there others like you?" Soraya looked up, her eyes suddenly hard. "Not anymore, I'm the last." Just then, a sharp beep echoed from Marcus's console. He stood, walked over, and pressed a button. A hologram blinked to life, a message from the Bazaar's central system. "To the human who purchased slave number 47F, return her immediately. She is classified property. Failure to comply will result in death." Soraya stood up, shaking. "They found me already." Marcus shut the message off. "They can't just claim you like that. You're not property." She looked at him, calm but serious. "You don't understand. I was never meant to survive. My body is a secret weapon. If they think I'm alive, they'll come and they will kill you to get me back." "Let them come," Marcus said. Soraya walked closer. "You don't know what they are. They are not soldiers. They are collectors. They erase problems quietly." "Then we stay quiet too," he said. "I know a place off-grid. We can hide." But Soraya's hands trembled. "It won't be enough. If they find me with you, they will torture you, just to watch me suffer. That's how they break us. Double quotes. Marcus met her eyes. "I won't leave you." She looked at him strangely, like no one had ever said those words to her before. "Then I will protect you," she whispered. "Can you fight?" Soraya stepped back. She took a deep breath. Then she reached out with her hand, and the cup on the table floated up into the air. Marcus stared. "I thought the collar blocked your powers?" "It does," she said, breathing heavily. "But not all the way. Not if I fight it." Suddenly, her nose bled. She fell to her knees. Marcus caught her. "Stop," he said. "You're hurting yourself." She smiled weakly. "I had to show you, so you know I'm not just some weak girl in chains. You don't have to prove anything to me," he said softly. "Yes, I do," she whispered, "because every person who looked at me before only saw a tool, but you saw." He helped her lie down on the small bed in the back of the ship. As she drifted into sleep, she whispered again, "If I live, and if I'm free, I will give you more than strong children, Marcus. I will give you loyalty, strength, and fire." Then, silence. Outside in the city's shadows, a black drone blinked and floated away, watching. Sending coordinates? Someone now knew exactly where she was? The sound was small, just a soft beep, but Soraya's eyes opened wide the moment she heard it. She sat up on the bed in Marcus's ship, breathing fast. Marcus, she whispered. He was still at the control panel, reviewing maps and travel. Roots, he turned. What is it? Soraya stood slowly, her hands shaking. They found us. Another beep, then two more. The ship's security screen lit up red, incoming scanner signal, unidentified drone, Class 6 Hunter. Marcus ran to the window. A dark shape hovered in the sky, silent, black and glowing red underneath. It's watching, Soraya said. It already sent our location, Marcus cursed under his breath. We're leaving, now. He fired the engines and lifted shuttle off the ground, taking them into the thick purple clouds of Drexel 9's upper atmosphere. But it wasn't fast enough. More dots appeared on the screen. 3 pursuit crafts incoming, the computer said. Tracking your heat trail. Marcus turned to Soraya. Can you do anything? Can you block them? She gripped her collar, wincing in pain. I can try. She closed her eyes, hands stretched toward the ship's core. A blue glow flickered in her fingertips. Then the lights inside the ship dimmed. Suddenly, everything went quiet. The pursuing ship stopped moving on the radar. Marcus stared in shock. You stopped their systems? Only for a minute, she said weakly, dropping to her knees. That's all I can hold. He didn't wait. Marcus hit the warp jump. The stars stretched, then blinked, and the ship disappeared into deep space. They arrived in orbit around a small, dead moon with no name. Marcus had been here once before, a hideout for smugglers and people who didn't want to be found. The base was abandoned now, half buried in rock and ice. He landed the ship in a dark cave and shut down all power. They were safe. For now, Soraya lay on the floor, breathing heavily. You're burning up, Marcus said, placing a hand on her forehead. Your body's shaking. It's the collar, she whispered. Each time I use power, it punishes me. Marcus stood up. I'm getting that thing off you. You can't, she said quickly. If you guess the wrong code, I'll die. He walked to his supply chest and pulled out a toolkit. Then we'll do it the right way. She looked at him with tired eyes. Why are you helping me? He paused. Because no one helped my sister, he said softly. She was taken by traffickers years ago. I was too late to save her. I won't be too late this time. Soraya blinked slowly, then looked away. I'm not your sister. I know, he said. But I still won't walk away. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the cave. Marcus grabbed his blaster. Soraya sat up, alert. They're here! No, Marcus said, peeking through the scanner. It's just one ship, small. A shadow moved near the entrance of the cave. Then a figure stepped inside, tall, armored in black, face hidden under a silver mask. Marcus aimed. The figure raised a hand. Easy, it said in a deep voice. I'm not with them. I'm here to warn you. Marcus didn't lower his weapon. Who are you? The figure removed the helmet. It was a woman. Her skin was light gray and her eyes were gold. I'm from the same program as her, the stranger said, pointing to Soraya. But I escaped years ago. They think I'm dead? Soraya's eyes went wide. You're from Unit 11, the woman nodded. They call me Ashira. I've been hiding since I was 16. Marcus lowered his blaster slightly. Why are you here? Ashira looked at Soraya. Because you're the last one. They destroyed the others. You're their final hope for the weapon child. They will never stop. Soraya sat still, breathing deep. Marcus asked, Do you know how to remove the collar? Ashira knelt beside Soraya and gently touched the red device. Yes, she said. But the code must be said in her native tongue. Only she knows it. Marcus looked at Soraya. Can you remember it? Soraya's eyes filled with fear. If I say it and I'm wrong. Ashira took her hand. You won't be wrong. You were born for more than this chain. Soraya swallowed, then nodded. She closed her eyes and whispered something soft. The collar beeped once, then twice. Then click. The red glow faded. The collar dropped to the floor. She gasped, her whole body glowing faint blue for a moment. Her strength returned in a flash. The pain disappeared. Marcus stared. You're free. Soraya stood, taller, straighter, Stronger. She looked down at her hands, then at Marcus. I feel everything again. Then her face turned serious. They'll come stronger next time. We need to move before they bring the whole fleet. Ashira nodded. Then let's not wait. You have a human who chose you. That means you're not just a weapon anymore. Marcus grabbed his blaster, standing beside her. We run now, he said, but next time, we fight. Marcus had seen war. He had seen death, but he had never seen a body heal the way Cyria's did. It began just hours after the collar was removed. Her skin, once pale and bruised, started glowing faint silver again. The wounds on her back faded. The trembling stopped. Her eyes, no longer afraid, were sharp, alive, full of fire. Inside the small med bay of the hidden moon base, Marcus watched as Cyria bent a metal pipe like it was soft clay. Ashira, the escape test subject who had joined them, nodded. That's her real body. That's the strength they tried to lock away. Marcus couldn't look away. Cyria stood tall now. Her movements were fluid, powerful, but never wild. Everything she did had purpose. She wasn't just strong, she was controlled. How do you feel? Marcus asked. Cyria looked at him. For the first time. I feel like myself? She smiled slightly. Marcus returned it, but his eyes showed concern. You didn't heal like a normal person, he said. What else can your body do? Ashira answered before Cyria could. Her kind were designed to adapt, fast. If she's injured, her body remembers the damage and grows stronger to avoid it again, like evolution. In real time? Marcus asked. Yes, Ashira said. She's not just strong. She's a living weapon that learns. Cyria stepped forward. But I am not a weapon. Not anymore, Marcus looked at her. You said before. You were made to give strong children. Cyria paused, then nodded slowly. That's true, but not the way most think. We weren't just forced to breed. Our bodies were made to choose partners. Ones who had something rare strength of heart. Not just of body, that's how our bloodline survive. She walked closer to him, and my body chose you. Marcus blinked. Chose me? Cyria nodded again. When you took off my chains, not just the metal, but the fear, I felt something shift. My body responded. I started healing faster, breathing easier. That only happens when we find someone we can bond with. Ashira smiled softly. It's called the core connection. Once it forms, the female becomes stronger, and the male does too. Marcus raised a brow. Wait, I get stronger? Yes, Cyria said. If we complete the bond? If you accept me? Marcus stepped back slightly. Is this some kind of mating ritual? Cyria laughed for the first time. It was light, honest, and almost childlike. It's not about mating. It's about trust, unity. It's a spiritual bond. Physical, yes, but it only works if both hearts are open. Marcus looked at her differently now. This wasn't just a mission. This was becoming something bigger. But before he could respond, alarms flashed across the base. Warning, incoming ship detected. Class unknown, speed dash high. ISHIR, check the monitor. It's not one of theirs. Could it be a bounty hunter? Marcus asked. No, Cyria said. Look at the symbol. On the screen, a logo flashed, a broken sun inside a black triangle. Cyria's face turned cold. That's a purifier ship. Ashira's hands shook. They cleanse planets. Wipe out failed experiments. If they found us here, they're not coming to capture. They're coming to erase? Marcus looked at both of them. How fast can you fight? Cyria closed her eyes. Her hands glowed faint blue again. Fast enough. She opened a hidden panel in the wall and pulled out a silver staff. Not just a weapon, but part of her history. I was trained to protect, not destroy. I'll remember that now. The cave base shook as the ship landed hard on the moon's surface. Ashira grabbed a plasma blade and nodded to Marcus. You protect her. I'll hold the door. But Cyria stepped forward. No, this time I protect him. Marcus looked at her. I don't need protecting, Cyria smiled. I know. That's why I chose you. As the doors blew open with a sharp blast, 3 tall purifier soldiers entered wearing white armor with no faces, no voices, only weapons. One pointed at Cyria. Target located. Erase and recover tissue samples. She stepped in front of Marcus, no, she said calmly. She moved like lightning. The first soldier's weapon melted in his hands. The second flew backward, crashing into a wall. The third tried to inject her with something, but her hand twisted his wrist and snapped the injector in two. She wasn't just stronger, she was faster, smarter, more precise. Ashira watched with awe. She's reached phase 2 already. After the fight ended, the floor was silent except for the sound of Saria's breathing. Marcus approached her carefully. You didn't kill them. No, she said, because if I kill like them, I become like them. He nodded. You're not weak, he said. She turned and looked at him with warmth. No, and neither are you. Together, we're something new. Outside, the stars watched silently, unaware that something powerful was awakening in the shadows, something born of chains and now breaking free. The message wasn't loud, but it felt like a knife through the air. A crackling voice echoed through the cave base's radio. Return the female or watch your planet burn. Marcus froze. Saraya stood still beside him. Even Ashira, who had seen death too many times, looked shaken. The voice was not from the bounty hunters. Not from the purifiers. This voice belonged to something worse. Who is that? Marcus asked quietly. Ashira stepped forward, her face pale. That is the overseer. Saraya's hands clenched into fists. Her silver skin shimmered faintly. He's the one who created us. The one who called us projects, not people. Marcus walked to the console. The message was repeating. Return the female. Return subject 47F. We know you hear us. How? Did they find us again? Marcus asked. Ashira checked the sensors. They left a tracer on one of the purifier suits. It sent a signal the moment we powered anything up, Marcus cursed. So we're not hiding anymore. They're coming. Saraya looked at the blinking signal. No. They're already here? Outside the cave, the sky darkened unnaturally. A ship blocked out the stars, massive, like a floating fortress. Its lights cast long shadows over the mountain. Ashira whispered, That's not a warship. That's a collector vessel. It doesn't shoot. It harvests. Marcus grabbed his blaster. They're not harvesting anything today. Saraya placed a hand on his arm. Marcus, if they take me, they won't stop. They'll clone me. Use my DNA? They'll create a whole army from my blood. Then we stop them, he said firmly. Ashira looked between them. Fighting a collector ship head-on is suicide. Saraya stepped toward the cave entrance. Not if we break their link. What do you mean? Marcus asked. She looked back at him. Their power comes from control. From fear. If I walk into their ship willingly, but break their system from the inside, I can end it. Not just for me, but for every other being they've chained. Marcus stepped in front of her. No, it's too dangerous. It's the only way. Ashira nodded. She's right. Their network runs through a core link, a biological one. It's built around subject 47F. That's her. Marcus clenched his fists. So she is the key. Saraya took his hand gently. You freed me once. Now let me free others. He looked into her glowing green eyes. He didn't see a prisoner. He didn't see a weapon. He saw something more. You're not doing this alone, he said. We go together. The next hour moved fast. Marcus prepared the ship, checking engines and weapons. Ashira uploaded a virus designed long ago in secret to help. Saraya broke the collector's system. Saraya stood quietly in the back room, breathing slowly, focusing her energy. Her skin glowed brighter now. Her body was changing again, growing. Stronger as the moment neared. When she stepped out, Marcus was stunned. She wore simple armor, light silver and smooth. Not war gear, but ceremonial. Her people had once worn it during bonding rituals, not battles. You look different, he said. I am different, she replied. Not because of what they made me, but because of who I choose to be. Marcus held out a small badge. This is my crew tag. You're part of my ship now. She took it and placed it over her heart. And you are part of mine? They launched toward the collector ship in silence. It didn't attack them. It didn't need to. It opened its doors. Inside. The ship was silent, too clean, too white. The walls pulsed softly, like they were alive. No guards. No guns, creepy, Marcus muttered. They want me to walk in alone. Soraya said. Ashira stayed behind on the ship, ready to activate the virus. Marcus walked beside Soraya. A deep voice echoed from the walls. Welcome home, Subject 47F. Soraya didn't flinch. They reached the core chamber. Inside was a glass pod filled with silver liquid. Floating in the center was something alive, but incomplete. A copy of her. Clone, Marcus whispered. They started already, Soraya said. The overseer's voice returned. You were never supposed to escape. But now that you've returned, we can complete the future. Soraya stepped forward. Her voice was calm but strong. You chained me, you silenced me. But I learned something in those chains. You only had power because I believed I was weak. She raised her hands. A bright light burst from her palms, pure energy, not from pain, but from will. The glass pod shattered. The clone dissolved. Soraya turned to Marcus. Now, he activated the virus. The ship began to shake. Lights blinked. Systems failed. ERRO, system override. Core breach. Soraya's body lifted off the floor. Her eyes burned bright. Blue, the bond with Marcus pulsed in her chest, anchoring her. She screamed, not in pain, but in release. The collector ship cracked, alarms blared, and then silence. Back on the cave base, Ashira watched as the collector ship in orbit blinked. Once, then exploded in silence. Soraya and Marcus reappeared moments later. Teleported out by emergency beacon, he caught her in his arms. She smiled. They won't take me again. Marcus held her tighter. No one will. But deep in the stars, another voice stirred. They had lost their project, but they had just begun their war. Asterisk the sky above the cave. Base was finally clear. No ships, no scanners, no shadows, but inside Soraya. A storm still lived. She sat alone in the quiet chamber, staring at her own hands. Silver skin, strong fingers, power she could barely control. Yet even now, even after destroying the collector ship, something felt unfree. Marcus stood outside the doorway, watching her. He could feel her silence. Not peaceful, but heavy, like something trapped inside her soul. Shir approached him. She hasn't spoken in hours. She's safe, Marcus said. Ashira shook her head. No, she's free. But that's not the same thing. He nodded. Slowly and stepped inside. Soraya didn't move when he sat beside her. You did it, Marcus said softly. You saved others. You stopped them. She didn't look at him. I stopped their machines. Not their thoughts? Marcus frowned. What do you mean? Soraya finally turned her head. They made me believe that I was only useful if I gave them something. A weapon. A child. A result. They broke my body, yes, but the worst chains were the ones they put. In my mind, Marcus stayed quiet. She looked down again. I told you I would give you strong children. I offered that because I thought it was the only way someone would want me. Not because I truly chose it. He opened his mouth to speak, but she stopped him with a hand on his chest. Please, let me say this. I need to. She took a slow breath. I want you to know who I really am. Not the version they built, not the warrior, not the weapon, just me. Marcus looked into her eyes. Then tell me. She smiled faintly. I love music. I've never heard human songs, but I dream of them. I don't like loud places. I like cold caves and warm fires. I want to learn how to cook, even if I burn everything. I've never slept next to someone. Just to feel safe, but I want to try. Marcus blinked. That's the most honest thing anyone's ever said to me. She smiled again, this time, real, soft, not forced. They took everything from me, my childhood, my choices, even my name. Soraya was the number on my tank. I don't even know if it's really mine. Marcus stood and walked to the back of the room. He opened a storage drawer and pulled out a small object, a broken metal tag with faded letters. He sat beside her again and held it out. I found this in your cage the day I bought your chains. The back has a name carved by hand. It's almost gone, but I think it says Siva. Soraya held it carefully, reading the worn letters. Her breath caught. That's That was my mother's voice. I remember now. She called me Siva before. They took her, Marcus nodded. Then that's your real name. Tears touched the corners of her eyes. Then let me say it clearly now with my whole heart. My name is Siva, and I will never belong to chains again. The words seemed to break something deep inside her, a final wall. A hidden lock. Her body shimmered, not glowing from power. This time, but from peace, Ashira entered quietly. I heard, she said gently. You chose your name. That's the final step. Marcus looked confused. Final step of what? Ashira smiled. Of becoming whole. She turned to Siva. Now your body can truly bond, not because of programming, but because of purpose. Siva nodded. Then I choose him? Marcus blinked. Me? Siva stood and walked toward him. Not because you freed me. Not because you saved me, but because when I was broken, you didn't fix me. You stood beside me and waited. That takes real strength. Marcus looked at her gently. Then I choose you too. Not as a soldier. Not as a project, as Siva. The room was quiet as something unseen passed between them. A pulse of light, barely visible. Two souls connecting not for war, not for survival, but for healing. Ashira stepped out silently. Leaving them alone, Siva and Marcus sat on the floor. Together, hand in hand. After a long pause, she asked, Can I stay with you? Marcus smiled. You were never leaving. She laid her head on his shoulder. Then this is the first night I'll ever sleep without fear. And for the first time in her life, Siva dreamed of stars, not cages, but far away. In the black void of space, something stirred again. The overseer may have lost his creation, but he wasn't done watching her. The stars above the moon base looked quiet, but Siva knew silence did not mean safety. She stood at the cliff's edge, wind blowing through her silver hair. Her body no longer trembled. Her hands were no longer bound. She was strong not because of her power, but because she had finally chosen who she was. Behind her, Marcus tightened the strap on his pack. Fuel's ready. Once Ashira returns with the navigation codes, we're clear to leave. Siva turned slowly. And then what? He shrugged. Then we find a planet where no one knows your number. A place where your name is yours alone? She smiled. That sounds nice. But deep down, they both felt it. It wasn't over. A low hum filled the airsoft at first. Then rising, a tremble beneath their feet, Ashira burst into the room, breathless. They're here! Marcus stood straight. Who? She pulled up a hologram. It showed a massive ship, shaped like a claw, sliding silently into orbit above the moon, the Overseer's flagship. Siva stared at it without blinking. He came himself. Ashira's voice shook. That means one thing. He's afraid of you. Now, Marcus looked at them both. What does he want? Siva answered, To erase me before others like me rise. If I live, his system dies. Ashira nodded. The Overseer doesn't fear war. He fears freedom. They all knew what had to happen. This time, there would be no hiding. No running. Siva stepped forward. I'll face him, alone. No, Marcus said, not alone. We go together. She looked at him. If I don't return, I won't stay behind, he cut in. Whatever happens, we finish this together. They flew up in Marcus's ship, Ashira guiding from the console. The flagship opened its bay doors without resistance. Siva could feel it. This wasn't an attack. This was an invitation. The landing zone was empty, cold, clean, quiet. Quiet. Marcus and Siva stepped out. Lights guided them down a long hallway, into a dark room with a glowing platform at its center. Then, from the shadows, a figure rose, not armored, not monstrous, but smooth, perfect, and calm. The Overseer. He looked like a man, but his skin was too smooth, his eyes too bright, his voice too cold. You ruined decades of design, Subject 47F. Siva stepped forward. My name is Siva. Names are for those who belong to themselves. You were made for function, not freedom. Marcus raised his blaster. Then you've already lost. She's not yours. The Overseer smiled slightly. You bonded with her, didn't you? And now you believe she belongs to you? Marcus lowered his weapon slowly. She doesn't belong to anyone. She chooses. That's the difference between you and me. Siva's hands glowed faintly. This ends now. The overseer raised a single finger. The walls lit up, revealing rows of tanks. Dozens of them. Inside each one, copies of Seva, half-formed, some awake, some twitching. All trapped. Marcus stepped back. You cloned her again? The overseer's voice was smooth. Of course, one rebel doesn't stop the future. Siva stared, her voice steady. They are not me, not yet, but they can be. She looked at Marcus. I need to reach them. If I connect my mind, my real mind, to the core, I can wake them up, give them choice. Marcus grabbed her arm. You could die. She looked into his eyes. I'd rather die freeing them than live knowing I left them behind. He nodded slowly. Then I'll protect your body. While you free their hearts? Siva stepped onto the glowing platform. Energy wrapped around her. Her mind stretched, reaching, touching, unlocking. She felt the pain of each clone, the fear, the silence. She sent out one word. Choose. One by one, the minds lit up. The tanks began to break. Not by force, but from within. The clones opened their eyes, confused, scared, then calm. The overseer shouted, stepping forward. You will obey. But they didn't. They looked at Siva. One stepped out. Then another. Not machines. Not weapons. Sisters. Together. They surrounded the overseer. He tried to speak again, but this time, Siva raised her voice over his. You built chains. We build bonds. You program silence. We choose voice. You made us to obey. We choose to live. The ship shook. The core lit up, overloaded by dozens of awakened minds now rejecting a system. The overseer screamed. Then nothing. The ship's power collapsed. The lights faded. The war ended not with explosions, but with freedom, back on the moon. The clones gathered near the cave base. Ashira stood beside them, smiling with tears in her eyes. They are free. Like we dreamed. Siva stood in front of them all, holding Marcus's hand. I thought my strongest gift was my body, she said. But I was wrong. My real strength was choice. Marcus whispered, and now you have it. She looked up at him, full of light. You didn't just break my chains, Marcus. You broke the war that made them. They kissed softly, not as saviors or warriors, but as two souls who chose each other, and somewhere in the galaxy, a fire lit in the hearts of many. Because when one chain breaks, others follow.